This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today that you'll consider this your vitamin or your supplement for your heart and mind. And wherever and however you receive podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief review. It would be exceedingly helpful if you would do that. Today I want to talk about goal setting, just some of the basics. What goes into you making and setting goals? For many years as a pastor, I used to ask the little children on Sunday or Wednesday night, whenever I'd be with them, I'd ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? And someone asked me one time, why do you ask them those questions? Well, I was still young enough that I was looking for ideas, and some of the best things I've ever learned came from children. We're all interested in doing something with our lives and accomplishing things, whether it's in your spiritual life, your personal life, your business life, your relationships. In all areas, there are some things we want to do. So I have, I think it's about 7 or 8 ideas that I want to share with you about goal setting. And the very first is you have to be very clear. For so long in my life, I would make them fairly nebulous. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. That was hard to be able to measure when you were even done or if you even had come close to that. I think the first thing you need is to sit down and get some clarity. Let me give you just a general reason of why I think we should all be setting some goals. Because in the absence of defined goals right now, we have become strangely loyal to the trivial. Most people are running after nonsense, trivial things because they've not really set their heart on doing something that they should accomplish. So no one can tell you what your goal should be. You're going to have to sit down somewhere and get clarity. And that leads to the second step that I would say that will help you in goal setting and goal clarity is write them down. You have probably heard it often in your life that a goal properly set or properly defined is halfway done, because once you know where you're headed and what you're going to try to accomplish, you are ahead of the game. And it's not just enough to be clear. You really need to write them down. There is something mystical, magical, whatever word you want to use, powerful, when you write it down. Now, I'm a great believer in electronics and do most of it electronically, but the writing something down, the transference from a pencil and a pen to a piece of paper or a computer key to a word processing page, there's just something that deeply reinforces that in your heart and your mind by writing it down. It is a sense of reinforcement. And that leads me to the third step in goal setting is not only do you need to be clear and have clarity, and not only do you need to have them written down, you need to review them daily. It's one thing to go away on a retreat or to spend an hour trying to pray and get clarity and come up with the goals, and then to write them down. And then if you just throw it away or put it away and never look at it anymore, it really isn't as powerful as when you review it daily. It's a part of my morning and my evening routine that I review the goals that I have set for this year or 2 or 3 years ahead. You must review. If it's important enough that you're giving your life to, it's something you want to do, then it's important enough to review it. You know, out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of sight, out of mind, they both work together. That's why you have to review them daily. There's something you've heard all of your life. SMART goals. The word SMART being the acrostic, and I'll get to that in a moment. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. But when I first started out setting goals and I heard of this concept of SMART goals, I thought the S stood for, well, I started, but didn't really know what I was doing. And the M, rather than standing for measurable, stood for moaning. I just moaned about, why do I have to measure this thing? And rather than the A standing for something that's attainable, A for me stood for, I asked myself, will this ever be over? And rather than the R being relevant, R for me many years stood for, I realized I hadn't ought to gotten myself into this mess. And the T, which instead of stood for time bound, as it does for me in those days, said, I think I'll think about a new goal. And so we think it's that we need to change our goals when really it's we need to change our attitude. So let's talk about your goals. They should be SMART goals. They should be specific. For instance, I want to lose weight this year is a general rule, is a general goal that isn't going to motivate you or get you anywhere. You need to be specific. I'm either going to go to the gym this many days, I'm going to exercise in this manner, I'm going to watch my diet in this way. You have to be specific. If you're in debt, I'm going to use Ramsey's snowball, debt snowball, whatever method you want to use. But you have to have a specific, I want to be out of debt by. I want to get in better health by, and I'm going to do these things. It has to be specific. It has to be measurable. Just saying, I want to lose weight next year, how do you measure that? So a goal has to be something that you can measure. Even in the area of spirituality, which is very hard to measure, you need to break that down. Does that involve doing works of service? Does that involve so much Bible reading? Does that involve so much time in prayer? You have to come up with the way that you're going to measure it. And then it has to be attainable. I don't mean easy. Attainable does not mean easy. You're still going to need to stretch to reach your goals. But for instance, if I said my goal is to be on the next year's Olympic swimming team, that's not just delusional. That is plumb crazy. It has to be something that is attainable. Doesn't mean that it still means you're going to have to stretch and grow and maybe get some new knowledge and all of that. But I'm never going to be an astronaut. I'm never going to be a ballerina. That's not attainable both with my body mass, my age, my disposition. So you know what's attainable, but attainable, do not substitute that for easy. Attainable means with the gifting that I have, the interests that I have, it's something I'll be able to do, though I'll need to grow and to stretch. The R in SMART goals is it relevant? Is it something that's going to make a difference in your life? Getting out of debt would make a difference. Being a better spouse, a better child, a better parent, a better Christian, being a better employee, being a better entrepreneur, being a better pastor, being a better business leader. All of those are wonderful and they're relevant if they are involved in your life, but it's something that's going to make an impact. I'm going to save for retirement. All of those things we all understand. Yes, that's a very, very relevant goal. And then the T in SMART stands for time bound, meaning there has to be a time. For often in my younger years of leading, I would have goals, but I really didn't know when I was going to accomplish. I had no end in mind. And so I just sort of wandered around. You have to help create a sense of urgency in order to meet and make goals, and they have to be time bound. So one of the things as you're reviewing daily, you've set your goals, they're SMART goals, you have to begin with the end in mind. Where is it that I'm trying to get to? What is it that I want to see accomplished in my life? Here I am today. Here's where I want to be. What is it going to take to get me there? One of the things that has really helped me in the last year or two, and I don't even know this is a word, I think I'm making it up, but that is gamify your goals. In that way, make it a game keeping track. And what really, really helped me, it may not help you at all, but what really helped me in this area was getting a bullet journal. And what I mostly use my bullet journal for is a habit tracker. I have determined that by the end of this year, I was going to do 240 1-hour of cardio sessions in order to get healthy and lose weight. I was going to do 100 hours of strength or resistance training this year. And I'm on track, but I gamify that, and savings and some other things, Bible reading, those that I keep. I have about 10 things that I track that it helps me to reach my goal, and it sort of becomes a game. And I've even offered myself out in the future a reward, not even if I meet the goal, but if I do these do the habits that I say will get me there. Because you're going to have to, that leads me to the next one, which feeds into this, is you have to make a plan. It's not just enough to say, I'm going to achieve or reach this goal. You have to make a plan. What steps is it going to take? In order for weight loss, I knew it had involved something to do with eating. It had something to do with exercise. So what were the steps that would take me from where I was a few months ago to where I wanted to be? What are the steps? It's not enough to have a goal. You have to work your way back and say, what are the actions that I'll have to take weekly, daily, monthly, in order to move myself that direction? Write it down, figure it out. Now, you won't be able to figure it all out, but know that life is such that you can make adjustments along the way. So what are the steps? And then I had to think about, what are the obstacles? If you're going to try to lose weight, then if you know there are people that are going to offer you apple pie and ice cream every day, that's sort of an obstacle you're going to have to work your way around. I think we have the idea that if I set a goal and I say, here are the steps that's going to get me there, that it's going to be a glide and it's going to be a smooth path. There are always going to be obstacles to anything that's worth doing. There's always going to be roadblocks along the way. Now, you and I will not be able to think of all of them. We'll not be able to come up with all of them. But you need to at least think, when this happens with debt, if you're in debt and you're having a horrible time living within your means, then maybe you need to leave your credit card at home. Maybe you need to go to an envelope system and use cash. You need to figure out, when am I more inclined to do impulse shopping? Maybe you need to put some things on your internet to keep you from living on Amazon.com or wherever your favorite shopping area is. You have to think about, what are the obstacles? Not enough to set goals and say, here's the path. But what are the obstacles that I'm going to face? And then, who can I enlist to help me? A spouse, a child, a friend, someone to pray with me, someone to walk with me. You don't have to go through all of this by yourself, but just be thinking, who can I enlist to help me? The next one that's very helpful is getting accountability partners. I've said it before. This was never really high on my priority list, but in the last year, I have 3 accountability partners who aren't from my church, I did not know, nor did they know me. And not only that, they live in different parts of the country. One's in Texas, one's in California, and one's in Wisconsin. And we get together every Saturday via the telephone, and we've told each other what we were going to do this week, what our goals, what our plans were. And I know that when Saturday comes, I have to give an account for myself, as do they. That has been a powerful, powerful tool. Do not underestimate the power of getting an accountability partner, not a yes woman or a yes man, but a true accountability partner who will hold you where you need to be. So you have to make the plan. What are the steps? What are some of the obstacles I'm going to face? Is there someone I can enlist to help me? And can I get an accountability partner who will help hold me to it? The next one is where many people fail, and that is, you must take action. You have to execute. I have found some people who have tremendous plans. They are sterling and outstanding and almost stupefyingly wonderful. The problem is, they never take action. They never follow through. They never act on what they have declared and determined they were going to do. Today, why don't you try to do something, even if it's not the best thing to do to move you forward? Just take action. You know, something in motion stays in motion, and there's nothing harder than to get momentum building up. But you will not reach your goals by wishful thinking and having a beautiful planner and a beautiful bullet journal and having it written down on lovely paper that you used an expensive pen to write it down. All of that is preparatory. What makes a difference is you have to get up and take action and do it consistently day in and day out. And then finally, the last one that'll help you in goal setting is, if you're in a little place maybe where you're even stuck a little bit on reaching goals and getting where you need to be, decide that you're going to help others. There is an amazing spiritual principle that if I begin to help others, I receive help. If I'm not feeling well or I'm sort of discouraged, If I begin to pour my life into the lives of others, I become encouraged. The worst thing is becoming self-absorbed. And so in order to meet some goals in your life, why don't you come alongside and try to help someone else reach their goals? You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. And today we've been talking about goal setting. Make sure your goal is clear, write it down, review it daily. Make sure that it is a SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Gamify it. Break down the habits that you're going to have to institute and keep track of them. Make a plan. Figure out what steps is it going to take to help me reach this goal? What obstacles may I face? Who can I enlist to help me? And who will help be my accountability partner? And whatever else you do, get up and take some action. Do something to move you forward. And try to help others make their dreams come true and reach their goals. This is Dr. Ron saying, leader, you're doing better than you think you are, and set some goals and achieve them. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.